Thanks, JP. This technology today is having their own mind. It's like it's possessed or something like that.
I told you.
Well, everyone's on Zoom. I was surprised. I was like, oh, right, Skype still exists.
Yeah. Oh, it's worse than that because we're doing Skype through Facebook. So we're doing two different layers. Yes.
Just making it a little crazy.
Can you guys hear the construction outside?
No, I can't. Am I supposed to?
You're all good here.
Okay.
Okay, good.
All right. Okay, so here we go.
Perfect.
Hey everybody, this is Bob Torty from The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, also Mr. Downtown from That Thing You Do and The Pharaoh from Joseph, and you're listening to the DJ Dog. So close. Let me do that again. So close.
That was like the best thing ever. I didn't want to say anything.
Hey everybody, this is Bob Torty from The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, also Mr. Downtown from That Thing You Do and The Pharaoh from Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. You are listening to the DJ DANI Show. Let me do that again. That was terrible. One more. Sorry. Hey everybody, this is Bob Torty from The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, also Mr. Downtown and That Thing You Do. She's the man, Sweet Life. One more time.
That's fine.
I'm trying to go over my resume in my head.
Wherever you want to cut it.
There you go.
All right, good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, March 31st, 2020. Welcome to the DJ DANI Show on HamiltonRadio.net, stream HR2. I'm your host, DJ DANI. So honored and excited to have my guests today, especially here on Skype with me, throughout all the ups and downs that we finally had with communication problems, and you're here today. So thank you so much, JP, for being here. Really appreciate it.
It's my absolute pleasure. Nice to meet you, DJ DANI.
Thank you. It's an honor to meet you as well. Real quick, I just have to say my sponsor, which is Smoke and Bacon. So we're going to play my sponsor. DJ DANI Show was sponsored to you by Smoke and Bacon. Okay. Okay.
Smoke and Bacon Community App, a community-based social media platform with over 20 different unique communities and growing. Designed as an alternate social media platform for people who question the status quo, both those who are curious and those who ask WTF. You know what that means. Tired of being in Facebook jail? Is your content too edgy, raw, or free thinking? Well, we developed the Smoke and Bacon to be the platform for free thinkers and rebels to share what they want. Additional community activities include social contests and giveaways, daily and nightly exciting live streams, new engaging communities launching monthly, social media the way you want it. Available now in the Apple and Google Play stores. Join us today.
All right, so we are back to you. So I know everybody is asking this question, and this is myself as well. I know what it stands for, but some of your fans and viewers here at Hamilton Radio and around the world, we want to know, what exactly does JP stand for? It's a big one.
So you mean literally what do the initials J and P stand for, or what are my personal politics?
Oh, you could do
J stands for Jean Paul. It's it's a French name. I have a beautiful French name. I'm Jean-Paul Christophe MANOUX, because my father is from France, and he gave all of us these beautiful French names.
That's beautiful.
It's spelled Jean, so some of my teachers when I was growing up would call me Jean Paul, which was annoying because that's not my name. So I became JP at a very early age.
So did you feel like that was quicker, something you wanted to change it to when you got more into acting?
It wasn't a conflict. Some actors have to change their names because there's another actor in the union who's already using that name. Yep. So they have to pick a different name. Who is it? Michael Keaton's real name is something else. I can't remember. It's like Michael Fox, or Michael Fox's real name was Michael Keaton. Like those guys had to change names. Not the case with me. I just chose JP because I'd already had friends and family call me JP for years and years.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, it's still really nice to know that you're French. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not fluent, unfortunately. I've played some French characters, like the robot mime in Eurotrip. But unfortunately, my vocabulary and fluency is about that of like a second-year high school student. So
well, there's nothing wrong with that because it's still fun when you get to create more different characters or different like influences, or different ways you can experience and have fun with the character.
If I can fool people, I think it's flattering that my acting skills were just good enough that people thought maybe I really was French. But my real French relatives and cousins, they think my dialect is terrible.
They probably could teach you though too if you ever had a role or something like that too.
Hey, I've got a question about your sponsor. Was it Smokin' Bacon?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so how do they spell Smokin' Bacon? Because I want to go to their page and see what that's all about.
Yeah, it's SMOKE, and then it's the Amsterdam sign on Facebook, and then it's bacon.
Smoke and bacon.
But on their website, it's smoke and then AND bacon.
Got it. Okay, but it's not smokin'. Like it's smoking bacon.
It's
smoke and bacon.
Correct.
Got it.
And actually what it is it's a social media app as well as what Facebook is.
I heard. I was listening.
Yep, everybody's joining it. So
I thought it was very interesting that they said, "Are you sick of being stuck in Facebook jail?" Because I know a bunch of friends just in the last week or so have been surprised that like some of their posts were flagged or things they didn't think were controversial at all. So maybe these alternative social platform sites are going to get more traction.
Oh, definitely, and they do contests too if you join. So might win some money and stuff like that. So I think you like it now, definitely. So So JP, getting a little bit into, growing up and stuff, your first age, when you first wanted to get into acting, how old were you?
I used to do a lot of mimicry. I used to act out things I saw on TV. So when I was probably 5, 6, 7 years old, I was memorizing stuff that I'd seen on 70s variety shows like Shields and Yarnell and Donnie and Marie and Hee Haw and stuff like that. That's kind of the first stuff I remember seeing. If I saw something I thought was funny or other people thought was funny, then I would repeat it. And so at a very early age, I was aware of wanting to perform for other people. But it wasn't. I think he did some children's theater when I was 10 or 11.
Okay. To get your foot in the door.
What's that?
Was it like to get your foot in the door to add to your resume?
It was just kind of, I think I'm the oldest of 7 children. And so I think my parents just wanted to keep us all busy. So we all, we took tap dance lessons. We sang in the, school chorus and did little shows and things. But it wasn't really like we were on our way to becoming the next Osmond Family or Jackson 5 or anything like that. It was, I think it was just keeping us busy, and then I really, more than my other brothers and sisters, showed an interest in it. But I even then, it wasn't like I was going to be I had any interest in being a child performer on television or movies or anything like that. We grew up in Santa Barbara, California, and so we were close-ish to the city when I was growing up. It wasn't until I was in high school and knew that I wanted to be on TV, and then I started pursuing game shows. And that was really where all of a sudden I was like, how do people get on TV? And so one way I thought I could do it was to be a contestant on a game show.
Okay.
And then from that, other things, I started getting involved in more comedy sketch stuff in high school, and I had a teacher who steered me towards Chicago, where Second City and Improv Olympic and a lot of terrific improvising and sketch comedic actors had come from. And so, when I was at Northwestern University, that was when I was in an undergrad theater program, and everything started to become real. Like, oh, wow, these people are all over from the country, from all different parts of the country, and they're all here to hone their skills, their craft, and then hopefully become professionals one day.
And
it wasn't a trajectory I knew I wanted from the very beginning, but all along the way, I just kept wanting to collaborate with smart, funny people.
Do different things.
One thing together. Yeah.
Well, you're a comedian as well.
Well, I don't do stand-up comedy. A couple of times I've tried it, but I'm a comedic actor. I usually get cast to be
funny,
something that is a little funny, or who you don't feel bad about when something bad happens to them. That kind of.
That's
so. I would get cast a lot in the beginning as the elevator operator who's got too many suitcases, or I did a commercial for Fix a Flat where I was in a car with an overbearing wife who was like, a foot taller than me and 200 pounds heavier than me, and she like threw me out the car door. So a lot of it was physical comedy stuff where people were like, "Oh, it's fun to watch bad things happen to you." Well, okay. So
well, it's fun to watch it, but you're also getting the experience of it. Like it's still something you can put on your resume. And if you ever wanted to do stunt, you probably could do that too.
I've probably done a good share of stunt work without ever getting paid for it or getting credit for it.
That's horrible. That's horrible.
What? No, nothing like jumping off a building.
Oh, okay.
But yes, they just not long ago I there was an actor that they had shaved his head and they made sure he was the same size as me so that he could do this. It was a 911 Lone Star, which just aired like a month or two ago. And in the scene, I'm supposed to get like defibrillated, like they zap me as if they were using like a taser, and I'm supposed to like go flying across the room and collapse. And so they said, we'll get right up to the point where we put the paddles on your chest, but then you can just step out and we'll cut to the stunt man doing the big fall. And so I just did a little like sort of half fall, thinking like, oh, that's where they'll cut it. And they ended up being like, it looks great. So that guy had to shave his head for no reason. He still got paid for the day, I'm sure. But it's very flattering because they go like, no, you did everything that we wanted the stunt to end up looking like. So.
But you didn't get the credit.
Well, I'm getting it now on your show.
Well, yes, but I mean, you should get it like on your IMDb page or something.
Well, the whole point of the stunt work is that you're never supposed to notice the stuntman. So.
That's true.
Really, I'm getting the same credit either way.
Okay, as long as you're getting something, because you're such an amazing actor for everything that you have done, everything that I've witnessed you in. So, I mean, you've been in everything, okay? So, what's the first role that you remember receiving when you were, maybe say a teenager? When you first got maybe your first audition?
So first auditions didn't really... I think there was one friend of the family had me audition for a Gabe Kaplan sitcom when I was a kid, but I don't really remember that. I didn't have an agent or manager or pursue any of that. So it wasn't until after I graduated college that I moved out to Los Angeles and started trying to get auditions. Yeah. That took 4 years. So to just get in a position where you can be considered for things.
Correct. So can you at least go a little bit through the process? How did you feel like when you moved out to California and you were starting to try to pursue something, were you looking for open auditions? How were you? Was it in newspapers?
People who go to the undergraduate theater program at any university, you play a lot of different roles. You do Shakespeare, you do all this stuff, and you're ready to graduate, and you think I can do anything. And then when you are ready to try to promote yourself as a professional actor, you find out that they don't want you to do anything and everything.
Yeah.
We have 80-year-olds play here. You're acting. Listen to that you're this mad old man. What they really want you to do is figure out what's very special about you already, what's unique about you, sort of crystallize that, identify it, and run with that, because that's what's going to make you stand out from other people. So it's a little counterintuitive after you've had 4 years of trying to do everything to finally go back to what you always hear people say, which is just be yourself. But it's not enough to just be yourself. You have to identify what it is about yourself that's unique, and then highlight that. So for me, it was that the physical comedy stuff I had always liked doing. So when it came out, I was trying to find opportunities to do clowning stuff that I liked. I always thought Charlie Chaplin was amazing, and I had done a one-man show about his life in college, so a lot of physical comedy. But you can't just arrive in town and say hi, I'm here to do comedy. You have to get a bit of recognition for your talent, and you don't automatically have that just because you graduate school. So you have to get into plays and get small bits here and there that people at that time in the early 90s would write about. So I got some good reviews for stuff, and that helped me get an agent or a manager who could get me auditions for commercials
and for starring roles and stuff like that. Or
not. I mean, I'm still waiting for that to happen.
Oh no, I mean on Phil of the Future or something
Right.
Disney
so
Channel.
Phil of the Future is an example of I had done a lot of single episode guest stars on sitcoms. Yeah. So if it would be an episode of like Veronica's Closet or not Desperately Seeking Susan, what was it called? Suddenly Susan. And like all those NBC shows that weren't Friends, but were on during the height of must-see TV. Like I rotated through a lot of those, playing different characters. And because I had done that for several years, the casting director at Disney Channel was willing to see me come in and audition for, at the time, the part of the caveman on Phil of the Future. Because in the pilot episode, there was no Mr. Hackett yet. There was no like vice principal at the school. It was the family and the caveman.
Yes.
And they weren't. The show was originally called The Out of Timers, and it came down to me and a guy who was like 7 feet tall. He's a big, scary-looking like Sasquatch type body.
Oh, for a caveman.
Okay. Yeah, so they couldn't decide which way they wanted to go. Did they want a big, scary guy to be the caveman with little Phil from Phil of the Future? Or did they want a sort of meek, smaller guy so that it was more like a buddy for Phil? Because Raviv is like no taller than me, who played Phil. So they ended up going with the big guy. They filmed an entire pilot episode. And when they showed it to kids, when they were testing it, they said a lot of the kids got scared of the caveman.
Too. Yeah.
He was actually really big and scary. And then the other thing that was problematic for production was whenever they would film a scene where Phil was talking to Curtis the caveman, when they would film over the caveman's shoulder looking down at Phil, that was fine. Mm-hmm. But when they did the reverse and they would have to film over Phil's shoulder up at the caveman,
'cause he's so tall,
you would see all the lights and all the grid work and everything above the sets.
Yeah, you're not supposed to. That ruins it.
They would have to build ceiling pieces and keep putting them in place behind him so that it looked like a real house or a real school with a ceiling. And they said that took time and that was expensive and stuff. So they shot that pilot episode and then they said, you know what, we're not going to have the caveman after all. We're going to do something different. And they reshot the pilot without the caveman character. And then they added, a couple of episodes later, they added the character Mr. Hackett, the vice principal. And they said, JP, we always liked what you did as the caveman. We would have, in retrospect, we should have cast you as the caveman. It would have been easier. But anyway, that's too late. Caveman's gone. But would you like to be this principal character? And I was like, of course. So I started playing Mr. Hackett first on the show. I auditioned for the caveman. I didn't get it. I played Mr. Hackett. And then about 5 episodes in, they decided they wanted to bring back the caveman. And they had auditions all over again. So a lot of friends of mine, a lot of people came in and auditioned for it. And I was already on set working as Mr. Hackett, super clean cut and bald. Yeah.
Sweater vest. And don't forget about that.
I felt one of the producers, and he said, "Guy, we're seeing a lot of people. They're good and stuff, but we really wish it's just too bad that that we didn't cast you as a caveman first because we liked what you did most for the character." And at the right place, right time, I said, "Well, I'll just do both parts." And I must have just caught that guy at a moment where he was like, "Yeah, okay." And this never happens, but it happened.
That's why I'm asking. Yeah, it's crazy.
I just said, like, what if I play both parts? And this guy said okay, and so that's how I started doing both Curtis and Mr. Hackett on Phil of the Future
at the same time. Well, I mean, you green screen, right?
They would try at first. They kept trying to make sure the two characters were in different episodes, so you wouldn't notice that it was the same guy. And then they were like, well, what does it matter? We'll just have it be. We'll figure it out if they're in a scene together. We'll figure it out. And so, like we were talking about before with the stuntman, they got a guy who was my size who had a shaved head. And when Mr. Hackett and Curtis would be in a scene together, they would put, big caveman wig on him and put on the bath mat sort of animal skins that I used to wear. And they'd shoot over his shoulder at me looking like Mr. Hackett. And then when it was time to turn around, I would put on the wig and all the stuff and get all the facial hair, and he would clean up and they'd shoot over his bald head at me. So he was in all those scenes with me, but you never saw his face.
But at least, it helped, especially, did it help you portray the role of either or? Like, how did you change you were talking caveman, ooga ooga, versus like a human being. So like, How did that
Every
work?
now and then, I'll still freak out because now all the kids who watch that show are like in their early 20s, and it's a lot of baristas actually. Usually, when I go to any coffee shop, that's usually where I get recognized. Someone will be like, "I know who you are," and but pretty much only 1 out of 3 knew that it was the same actor playing Curtis Caveman and Mr. Hackett. 2 out of 3 are usually really surprised.
Well, I knew it, but I was confused. Growing up and you learn about green screens. So yeah, I mean, but it's pretty exciting, and knowing that you could play 2 roles that everybody loves.
Well, because I had already basically created whatever my take on the voice and everything was going to be the first round of auditions. Like, I knew what I was going to do. So I was just like, Chugga, feel, Keely. And then, Mr. Hackett is just a sort of very uptight version of myself. So that was easy.
That's nice. Because I was going to say the episode that Disney Plus is.
I look like a combination of them right now. I've got like.
You really do, but you don't have the black hair. You don't have the wig.
He used to be black long ago. But yes. As we're all staying safe at home in these coronavirus times.
Maybe it'll grow back, right? Maybe it'll grow back.
I'm gradually becoming Curtis and not so much Mr. Hackett.
I was going to say, the one episode that Disney Plus has, they played it as a pilot that I watched today that I tagged you in. And it was the caveman. And it was Mr. Hackett.
When they first meet the Curtis?
When they first met Curtis, because he ate everything in the house in the beginning.
Yes. Right.
And then they found him, and then he came to the school, and he bit Mr. Hackett's leg. I just started laughing.
So that was actually like the 5th episode or the 6th episode that we filmed.
But
But on Disney Plus, they show it as the first episode to sort of introduce all the characters,
Yeah, but it's like that's crazy. So how was that made?
How was that show made?
No, like that episode. Like, did you bite your own leg?
No, it was like I was saying. There was the other stand-in actor, who's built just like me. It's the same physique. It would be anytime you saw my face. If you saw my face as Curtis, you were looking at the back of his head as Mr. Hackett.
Okay, I'm gonna have to snuggle.
On my face as Mr. Hackett, you were looking at the back of his head, or it was his ankle that
or
I
vice
did.
versa. Okay.
Yes.
Well, it's your own ankle.
And I was biting his ankle, and then when I was Mr. Hackett screaming, he was pretending to bite mine.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. That makes sense. Because it's really exciting, though, to actually know what happens behind the scenes, when you watch it.
And that sort of camera trick, it's not really a camera trick. That's just, cutting. But, in the Parent Trap, the original Parent Trap was maybe
Haley
the early
Mills?
70s, late 60s
Haley
Disney
Mills?
movie. I'm sorry?
Is it
Haley Mills? Yeah.
Yep.
So that was, kind of groundbreaking, making you really believe they were 2 different people. Those were not identical twins. I'm sorry, Patty Duke show, my wife is reminding me.
Okay.
But this is all long before your time.
No. I know Patty Duke, though. Well, I mean, I know of the show. Like, I'm young, but I grew up with Good Generation.
Yes. I've gotten a chance to do that kind of thing a few times. There was an episode of Aaron Stone, the show that I did in Toronto for Disney XD, where I played like 2. I was supposed to play my android self from the future who traveled back in time. So there were 2 of me.
Disney XD.
But that was more like the Parent Trap thing, where it was somebody was standing. You'd see me in the same scene with myself in the same shot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's someone was standing there, and then they would erase them, or we'd shoot with a plate of just the background, and then I'd go stand in it, and they marry the 2 images. Like, that's actual special effects. But it's becoming absolutely seamless now when you see some shows. There was a Paul Rudd show that came out a year ago called is it Living with Myself, I think, and you just can't tell at all. There's a movie called Moon with Sam Rockwell that came out several years ago, and that's the same kind of thing where you just, it's great acting on the part of those guys because you really believe they're 2 different characters.
Oh yeah.
But visually, you can't find the seams. It's amazing.
It really is, but I think it's more amazing, for everything that you portrayed and you starred in. Like, I literally, before watching Phil the Future, me and my father rewatched Inspector Gadget. Because
you saw me in Inspector Gadget.
I did.
So that was maybe if that wasn't my very first movie credit, like that was very close. Like I don't even know if I have a line of dialogue in it. I probably did, and some got cut. But yeah, I'm hanging out with Sherry O'Terry.
Yes, the mayor. You're the mayor's assistant, and you're writing everything down. But the faces that you make when you see, Matthew Broderick's character, Inspector Gadget, and everything.
Trying to steal some focus. Yeah, I'm new to Hollywood. I want people to notice me, so I'm shamelessly chewing up the scenery.
I love it though. It's the best thing because you never know who watches these shows and they don't. So, for instance, they're so interested on who the starring role is, Inspector Gadget, but you always see everyone else around and you're like, wait, I know that person. I cherish everyone in every role, every show, everything.
I'm delighted you and your father noticed. But what you said is so true that you're never really auditioning for the job you think you are. They say like you're always auditioning for this perfect future job down the line. So the director of Inspector Gadget, he put me in that movie because he had directed a commercial that I had been in, and he really liked working with me, and he knew he wanted that kind of a look for, our Sherry O'Terry's group, and so it was the work I did on that commercial ended up turning into more work with him later.
With an amazing role, yeah.
Doing that bit on Inspector Gadget makes a Disney feature film casting director maybe do a little double take, even though it's such a tiny part. They'll be like, oh, I like that guy. And then the next time you go into audition for something, there's a chance that they'll go, I already like him. I don't know why. I can't remember why, but like, yeah. Like, so you're always trying to build a literal resume of credits, but also a sort of resume of goodwill, a good reputation,
Or, movies that you've also starred in, such as Our Lips Are Sealed.
Sure. Our Lips Are Sealed, I think, was the same situation. I had done a commercial with the person who ended up directing Our Lips Are Sealed. And so, they were like, we need a quirky sort of guy to play the robber with a pimple.
Yeah, I remember that.
So funny.
Really, it is.
Some of my characters, when a lot of them don't have names, but they've all got very interesting descriptive
They
titles.
do, but I mean, you can always make them have names for yourself for you playing them.
Yeah, but that's not as fun as Robber with Pimple or Naked Armenian on Ecstasy or Excited Alien. It's much more descriptive.
Yeah, I guess descriptive sounds.
I don't want to just be like Bob.
That's true. Very true. But I was going to ask, with you being in all these shows and roles that you've played, have you connected and had good communication with everyone? I know, like with Phil of the Future, the whole family that you guys were close with. I
mean, all of the actors on Phil of the Future are friends of mine. Like they're terrific, and I've done a lot of comedy stuff with Craig Anton.
The dad.
Since Phil of the Future, we've done a bunch of sketch shows and things together. Raviv spends most of his time in New York City. He'll show up in a very serious play every now and then, but he also DJs, and I think he still drums. He's a super Renaissance performer.
That's amazing.
And whenever we're in the same place together, we definitely want to make sure that we get lunch. Lisa Sims, I see her on Facebook every now and then, and I'm sure we'll end up on the same set soon enough.
That's the mom, right? Yeah, mom.
Yeah, it's you're very lucky when you get to work on a show where you like everybody. And on that show, I really liked everybody. I thought everyone was terrific.
I feel like another thing is you maybe got to know them more portraying both roles, Like you got to be the teacher on top of both the kids and then the pet.
I ended up performing with everybody on that show. That's for sure. Yeah.
It's very fun to watch.
Thank you. And it's cool. And I've been very fortunate that way that there have been, because I was never just on one show for a long, long time.
Yes.
I've bounced around a lot, and I've had a chance to join a lot of other sort of creative families. There's the core cast of a show like Modern Family. Well, they just finished season 11 or 12 or something incredible. Like they don't get to go places. Everyone comes to them. All the other guest stars,
because they want to be a part
of them on their stage. It was I think the closest thing to being on a long-running show where I was in the same place for a while was I did 2 years on ER, and that had a lot of guest stars coming in. There were a lot of different actors who would come in, and if I wasn't in a scene with one of them, I'd always try to, seek them out because they got the cream of the crop of character actors on a show like that.
Well, there's also 2 voiceovers that I know you've done, and I freaked out when I found out you were Cusco in the Emperor's New Groove. That was my favorite TV show growing up. New School. I'm sorry, New School. Yes, that was the TV show.
Yeah, in the beginning, they wanted me to sound as much like David Spade as possible because
he was the voice, right?
The spin-off of the TV series based on the movie where he played Cusco. But after a little while, I kind of had the green light to just be me. So when you hear later episodes of Emperor's New School and you compare it to the movie Emperor's New Groove, like we're not exactly the same, but we're both capturing the same kind of.
That's why I was confused because I was like, "There's 2 Cuscos."
There's supposed to only be one.
Yeah, but it was a secret move.
Yeah,
they had to do.
That show had plenty of comedy for adults in it. There was a lot of smart jokes in Emperor's New School.
Yes. Well, Cusco's the llama. I love the llama. So he was the lead of everything, and he thought he was pretty much, want to say, the shit.
It's all about him.
Exactly. Another thing that we know you for as well, I found out, I didn't know that, but you played Scrappy-Doo in both Scooby-Doos.
I did. Now, there was a guy who had the job of being Scrappy-Doo in the TV shows of the 80s.
Yeah, the animated, right?
And I don't remember why he was unavailable or why they didn't want to have him do it. But I was in the right place at the right time and did my take on puppy power, and got to be part of that show. But no, I haven't played Scrappy in anything since those movies, though.
Both of the movies.
I'm not a Hanna-Barbera go-to voice.
Is that the person that played Scrappy before you?
Hanna-Barbera is the animation studio that created Scooby-Doo.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So in the voiceover world, there are a handful of people who do a lot of the voices that you love. Gray Delisle she does Velma, and she does a whole bunch of other animated characters. That's a whole different Hollywood. The people who have their recording studios at home and create very specific voices. They've really mastered that superpower. Every now and then I dip my toe into that pool, but no, I'd love to do more voiceover work. That'd be great.
I was gonna say, do you have a cameo, JP?
I do have a cameo. Yeah, you can find me there. I think if you search, you have to search my name. Otherwise, I think maybe if you say Disney, it might pop up. But yeah, I'm available on Cameo. I think I'm very affordable. So if anyone's interested in getting a video shout out, don't hesitate to request one.
Or do you also have TikTok?
I don't, because I'm very, very old, DJ Danny.
Oh, you're not that old. But you will get so many views. I'm trying to say, honestly, for everything that you've done, if you just do a TikTok where you throw back to one of your roles that you've done. That's what everyone's been doing. And I will follow you immediately when you do.
Thank you. I've resisted embracing any other social media platforms just because going from MySpace to Facebook and then Twitter, I was like, that's it, I'm done. And then of course Instagram's the only one that people care about, and now TikTok. But no, I have an Instagram account. I look at it once every 6 months, and I apologize if anyone's looking for me on TikTok.
But you can find him everywhere else, like your Facebook.
You can find me on Cameo, and you can find me on Facebook. Yeah.
Now, getting close to the end of the show shortly, we are going to talk about a new movie.
Time won't by.
Doesn't it? It's crazy, but I enjoy talking to you, and I really, again, appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me. Also, I'm honored to have followed Robert Tordy's intro.
Yes, he's from Sweet Life. You know of him, right? Aren't you guys friends on Facebook?
I performed with him in Reefer Madness.
Oh wait, I think you mentioned that. Yeah,
it was the original production was in Los Angeles before they took it to Broadway, and yeah, I got to watch him play Jesus every night. He was fantastic.
He was telling me about that. I still have not seen that. He's not in the movie, right? Is he in the movie? I forget.
Does he play? I think he does play Jesus in the movie.
I think he does. He told me to watch it, but I haven't.
The original cast are in the movie, and then some are new, like Anna Gasteyer and Kristen Bell.
Yes.
And a couple other people weren't in the original productions, but found their way into Reefer Madness when it was in New York or when they started casting the movie. And so I think Bob Torty made it through every incarnation of that show, but
movie.
He's phenomenal. He's an incredible performer.
But you were also in Reefer. Who did you play?
I played the guy who gets so high that he becomes a cannibal and eats his girlfriend. I
love your description.
What was my name?
I love your description.
Oh my goodness. See, it was 1999, so now we're talking about 21 years ago.
Okay, I was 3.
Bob looks better than I did. 21 years later.
You actually both look the same. You both don't look old at all. You don't.
Somebody have to look it up because, I'm ashamed to say I can't remember my own character's name. I do remember having to have an arm or a leg dripping blood on stage every night and pretend like I was eating it.
It was fake blood, right?
Yeah, it was fake blood. Well, and it was a fake arm.
No, but I meant is it like corn syrup? Ketchup?
Yeah.
Something like that.
So it'd be... Yeah.
Because you had to play a role.
Really disgusting, just sugary, sweet, sticky stuff that then, when the show's over, you've got to mop the stage.
Yeah, you have to clean up your part.
Yeah.
That's what happens. But I really enjoyed having Robert. He was amazing. Yeah, he actually did mention you, I believe, in the interview. I think I had him last week. Days keep flying by with this COVID. I don't even remember what day it is anymore until it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
I wanted to give you the time right now so you can talk about this new movie that is supposed to be coming out in September, but we don't know yet.
I hope it is still going to come out in September. It's called Nobody.
Okay.
And it stars Bob Odenkirk, and it is written by the guy who writes the John Wick movies, that screenwriter, and it's directed by the guy who did Hardcore Henry, so he's got a really great action, visual style, and it's kind of like if John Wick's character was a middle-aged man in suburbia who, the fire has gone out of his relationship, and then all of a sudden he remembers that he's a badass assassin, and because it's Bob Odenkirk, it's got a little bit more of a comedic element maybe than Keanu Reeves' Wick character does, although those movies have plenty of comedy in them too, I think. Anyway, we filmed it in Winnipeg in November. It was very, very cold. And the movie's supposed to come out in September. But I don't know if so many movies are changing their release dates now or pushing them back, so I don't know.
Hopefully they'll give you an update on that. But what was your character?
I'm
if you
Bob
can talk about it.
Sort of informant guy. I'm his man on the inside at the CIA. It's a big military data operation, and I'm the guy who can tell him the secrets that he needs to know to stay alive.
Okay, look at your role. That's amazing.
No, it's very cool.
Yeah, I think exciting you'll like to watch. I'm excited to watch it when it comes out. Hopefully.
Yep. So again, it's called Nobody. Nobody.
Okay, I think they're actually also promoting it on IMDb on the app or the website when I went to it earlier, to confirm some stuff.
Have you seen some kind of promo for it?
At the bottom of the page, a little ad.
Wow. All right, I got to go find that. I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, I did, because that's what came up when you told me Nobody, and then I saw this and I was like, wait, that's weird. So
cool.
Yeah. So they're starting to promo it on IMDb.
I mean, it'll come out sooner than later. That's also a possibility.
That would be amazing.
Some that are supposed to get big, theatrical releases. The studios may just be deciding, put it on Netflix right away, get it out, and let people.
Yeah.
Everyone's watching things right now. You might as well have them watch your.
I've been binging Disney Plus probably every day. That's all I'm doing. But real quick, give out your contact information where people can follow you and no more updates you have going on, whether with Nobody coming out or any other things.
So I post on Twitter somewhat frequently. So on Twitter, I am at JPMANOUX, at JPManu. And then otherwise on Facebook, I think there might be a couple of fake profiles, but it'll be pretty easy to figure out which one's the real me. So just look for JPP_MANOUX.
Do you have a page on your Facebook too?
Do I have a what on my Facebook?
Do you have like I know you have your personal Facebook, but do you have your own page?
So I had a fan page for a while. In the early days of Facebook, it was everybody was encouraged to you need to have your very private page and your very public page, and there had to be a real difference between the two. And then I found that a lot of people, they if they were on the public page or the fan page, they would maybe resent a little bit, like, oh, how come I can't be your real friend? And I'd be like, well, I have never met you. I don't know who you are. And it just became easier after a while to decide my private page kind of is my public page. I'm not going to post anything on my private page that is super personal. So everyone's welcome.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
As long as when I do your page, it doesn't look really scary, I will probably add you as a friend.
I think I'm safe, hopefully, with that situation. But I was just going to say, some actors, depending on your roles and everything that you're doing, you can, keep yourself wide open where everybody follows you with what you're doing. Or there could be some, privacy where you want to yourself and your family. And that's just what I wanted to make sure, that.
Certainly anyone can follow me. Okay. That's right. I forget that on Facebook now you can decide whether people... Whether you follow somebody or you're actively a friend of theirs or whatever. All of it is stuff I don't really pay that much attention to, though I do post a lot.
I was going to say, or another thing, they could just follow you and you don't have to accept their friend request if you don't know who they are. That's another thing. Right. So there's still some, little leeway and everything in that. But again,
every now and then I go through and try to weed out the bots, so there's plenty of room for new friends.
Oh, that's awesome. Again, JP, I've really enjoyed having you here tonight. Being on my radio show, enjoying talking about your new film, Nobody, that we're all so excited to watch. And hopefully it comes out in September or maybe before then. Never know.
Or maybe before then. Yes, I'll keep you posted.
Yes, please do. Before you go, because I know you're going to be going shortly, you have another prior commitment. Could you do a radio promo tag for us, just kind of like what Bob Torty did?
I'd be delighted, and I promise I'll do it better than Bob Torty did.
No problem. Okay, so you're going to say your name. You could say whatever role you'd like, and then you're going to say you're listening to the DJ DANI show. And then the second one is the same thing, but you're going to say you're listening to Hamilton Radio. And if you want to throw a Scrappy Doo in there too, you can, because I know my dad keeps asking if you can. So.
If I can throw in what?
Scrappy Doo. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, I will try to reference a couple of credits, and I'll say you're listening to the DJ DANI show.
Yes. And then Hamilton Radio is the second
one.
one.
Same thing again. You're listening to Hamilton Radio.
Perfect.
I don't say a station number or anything like that. Just Hamilton Radio,
yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, good luck me. Here we go. Anytime?
Yep, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hi, this is JP Manu. You may know me as the Dienelganger Doppeldeaner from Community, or Mr. Hackett, or Curtis the Caveman from Phil of the Future. Maybe you remember Puppy Power, Scrappy Doo. However you love me, I hope you love DJ DANI and her DJ DANI show. You're listening to it now.
I love it.
Okay. And then the other one, Hamilton Radio.
Yes, please.
Okay. Hi, this is JP Manu from Disney Channel's Phil of the Future, The Emperor's New School, and the TV show. Oh, I don't want to say Community. See, I've already screwed up just like Bob did. No, yeah, we'll leave out Community this time. Because then people get confused, and some of them actually think that I am Jim Rash who played the Dean. Yeah, I'm the Dienelganger. I'm the replacement Dean, not the real Dean. We don't need to confuse your fans, Danny. Okay, be short and sweet. Hi, this is JP Manu, Cusco the Caveman, and Mr. Hackett from Phil of the Future. You are listening to Hamilton Radio.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Doc G, do you have anything else you want to say, or Ruben, before we let him go? Okay.
I gotta say, JP, what a great show.
All right.
You did a wonderful show.
He's going to, real quick, he can't hear you.
Thanks.
You did a real great show.
This is my dad, yes. It's a station.
Yeah.
And thank you for being here. It was a pleasure.
For sure. Congratulations on creating a wonderful performer yourself.
Oh,
I look forward to all of your future productions, Danny.
Thank you. Well, if you're ever close to the East Coast around New Jersey or New York, please stop by.
Okay. Thanks again for having me.
Thank you
Bye,
so
guys.
much. Thank you. Stay safe. Yeah. All right, everyone. I really appreciate the show that we just recently had with JP MANOUX. We are real quick going to be ending the show with Cat of the Week and our sponsor with Smoking Bacon. So whenever Doc G's ready.
This is Train, and a new segment on the DJ Danny Show is Cats of the Week. 'Cause I was born in the wild.
All right, everyone. Today we have Cat of the Week for March 31st. We have Comet, which is Cookie, and her brother Oreo. They are being returned to us at no fault of their own. One of the children developed severe asthma. Cookie is a beautiful medium-ish hair calico with a floofy tail. Oreo is a silver and white tabby with short hair and a matching floofy tail. She and Oreo are a sweet bonded pair of older kittens. They are both friendly and outgoing. They both enjoy taking naps on their humans and getting love. According to the adopter, Cookie is a special girl. They are both warm and amazing kitties. They have been around young children for the past 6 months. They also love to play and spend time together. Can you give this returned pair a forever home that they deserve? If anyone is interested in Comet, aka Cookie, or Oreo, you guys can go to www.puppynycity.org. Again, they need help with fostering, transportation, and adoptions. Again, we had Cookie and Oreo. Thank you so much to Puppy Kitty New York City, again, as one of our sponsors here at Hamilton Radio. And we're going to end the show with Smoke and Bacon. Thank you so much as well. Have a great night, everyone. Stay safe from COVID. Okay. We're going to end with one of my sponsors, Smoke and Bacon, who is a part of the show. And we really want to just tell them thank you so much for everything that they have done. Everyone, they have an amazing app that you guys need to make sure you take a look at or you see. It is, again, a social media app, kind of just like, Facebook. And we mentioned also in the ad when we promote it that you're stuck in Facebook jail, or a lot of people are. So you being a part of the show, or you knowing of the app for Smoke and Bacon, they are such an amazing company that also does cute, funny comedy shirts, kind of like what Spencer's has, or something down the shore that you would see comedy. So we're going to play Smoke and Bacon sponsor. Again, everyone, please stay safe from COVID. Have a great night. See you next week.
Smoke and Bacon. Smoke and Bacon Community App, a community-based social media platform with over 20 different unique communities and growing. Designed as an alternate social media platform for people who question the status quo, both those who are curious and those who ask, WTF? You know what that means. Tired of being in Facebook jail? Is your content too edgy, raw, or free-thinking? Well, we developed the Smoke and Bacon to be the platform for free thinkers and rebels to share what they want. Additional community activities include social contests and giveaways, daily and nightly exciting live streams, new engaging communities launching monthly, social media the way you want it. Available now in the Apple and Google Play stores. Join us today.